if we live our best life, then death should be something not just that we welcome, but that we recognize as part of living our best lives and being our full selves. And when we get there, we're there. And so for that, I don't even fear my baby's death. I fear him suffering. I don't like that. What I don't fear is death, because even at 8, our goal is for him and my older son to live their best lives, to do and be all that they can be. So when that day of death comes, he lived it. How does Outkast say it? When the record player get to skipping and slowing down, all y'all can say is them they earn that crown. But all we can say is they earned the crown. Like when it's all said and done, they did it. They did what they were here to do, and they earned the right to rest.
I love that. Is living and dying a matter of perception? Because I'm thinking of my brother-in-law who might get a diagnosis today that he has a year to live. And part of me wanted to reply that it doesn't matter what that diagnosis is. Like when my uncle died and I attended his Zoom funeral, it was a reminder for me. So I feel like I attended that. It wasn't about me, but I took meaning from this experience. It was this realization, this reminder of how sacred life is. And so whether I got a day or a year or 10 years or whatever that number is, to your point, I think is I need to approach that life with which matters most to me.
I think it's more than a matter of perception. I think the concept of life and death is about being real. Like every moment you're alive, you're also dying. So to participate in life is to participate in death. And getting that diagnosis, like this will be your final day, just means that you know when it's coming. So you have the opportunity to live more fully. Whereas the rest of us can waste time and waste our energy doing things that are not about the fullness of our lives and the fullness of the lives of the people around us, because we don't know when we'll get the chance to rest. Whereas having that diagnosis means I can make this final leg of this journey. That's the way I look at it. And because we know, right, like there really is no such thing as life without death. And there's no way that we can live if there's not death all around us at all times. And accepting and acknowledging that means that we will have the opportunity to live more grandly and more fully. And that's, I think, what you read on Facebook was the rest of my argument with a friend of mine who was like, death shouldn't exist. But if death didn't exist, we couldn't eat. And not just animals, like we couldn't eat plants. There would be starvation or some really weird illnesses going on with plants growing in our bellies. We could not live and function. There would be mass suffering if there was not death. And to acknowledge that means that we have to see life in a way that is about the fullness of what life means.
Yeah, you wrote the digestive process is the breakdown of formerly living material into excretions that may or may not feed other living material. This death pre-exists sin. You even wrote, I wanted to ask you to explain, even God incarnate died. And I think you even alluded to heaven, the idea that that might pass away or die.
Oh yeah, that's part of, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, please. Yeah, that's break that down.
Faith, right? That there's scriptures that say heaven and earth may pass away, but the love of God, it lasts forever, right? Like everything has an end. And in Revelation, the book of Revelation, we see where God talks about, where God gives John the vision to talk about when heaven ends, there will be a new Jerusalem. There will be a new heaven created out of the ashes of this old heaven, out of the ashes of this old Jerusalem. When heaven and earth, all of that is created, pass away. So everything dies. Nothing is eternal except God. And I think accepting that means that we can participate in what Christians call everlasting life in a new way, knowing that even every heaven comes to an end, the angels come to an end. So everlasting life means participating with each other in a way that's different than just patting ourselves on the back for being holy and righteous. Summary.
So I got one thing that I want to die or pass away. So I feel like Jesus can stay, but white Jesus has got to go. Like if we're having conversations about white supremacy, why are we not naming the fact that white Jesus is a symptom of white supremacy? Is that not an epitome of white supremacy?
I think it's deeper than that. And I love how we just frame it white Jesus. It's white God. And um, it's the entire system of having a God who is white and steeped in whiteness.
And a
And then,
white male God at that.
well, that too. And then gave his son, right? So we have this lineage of whiteness that does white things in the world. And then we use that lens of whiteness to interpret whiteness throughout the Bible. So it's not just Jesus. It's the reinterpretation of the whole of human history through the lens of white supremacy.
We must rise to the majestic heights of meeting physical force with soul force.
Thanks for watching this short clip. Please be sure to like, subscribe, and share. To listen to the full episode, visit soulforceones.com or wherever you listen to podcasts. Peace.